Hello to all of you. Today we will talk about our limits. We have discussed about our beliefs and that every individual is unique with his own belief system that comes from his experiences and the way that he absorbs them and the meaning that he gives them. We have discussed about the programming that we have inside of us, from society, from our school, from our family, and so on. We've said that we must see the positive things in people, situations, and not let the negative facts separate us from the others, but to focus on the common things we have with them, positive ones, and accept the other person as it is for his own unique value. We said that it is important not to argue. There is no meaning trying to prove that we are right and the other person is wrong about something. Fighting is the worst energy, and yelling only bad things can bring. So we do not do that. We try to avoid it with every way we can. But there is a great but here. We do not need to become victims and create terrorists with our behavior, because when we surrender, when we go back, the other will come forward and gain land so as to eliminate our limits and everything that we believe and we support. It is us that we give the space and they come over. Here it is the time to put my limits, the limits of myself, up to where someone can approach and affect me emotionally, psychologically, and morally and mentally. I do not want to even think about a physical aspect. It is the most non negotiable thing. No one is allowed to touch me if I do not allow that, period. We need to have judgment in order to understand when we have to put the stop sign to the other's invasion, what we approve and what we cannot take. This depends on our beliefs, on our self confidence, our security or insecurity, and on the level that we know ourselves. If we do not know well ourselves, we cannot have steady limits because we are scattered inside. We are not a whole piece, but so many, hundreds of pieces, hundreds of selves. The one piece rules now, but after a while, the other part takes control and acts differently, with a different way. So, the first thing we have to do for applying our limits is to learn ourselves. Learn to be one thing, the same one all the time, with the same beliefs and principles. When someone is fair, with justice, he's always like that, in every person and in every circumstance. We can't be fair to someone and unfair to someone else. This is important. If we are different all the time, what kind of limits can I have? We also don't need to be afraid to put them. We do not need to care about what the other person will think about us, and that we need to sustain a very good image for us in his mind and his opinion for us to be the greatest. Not to think that I am strict or cruel or selfish. The other person thinks according to his own belief system, and it has nothing to do with us or our own belief system. We have to keep our distances whenever we need to, and our limits where we want to, when we want the other person to stop. Because if I do care and we keep on thinking about our image, we will be acting for a good image and not doing what we really want. We will not be real. We will not be ourselves. When there comes the time that you want to say no, you must say no and not accept something that makes you feel bad and divide yourself into the one who doesn't want to act in that way and the other part that feels the obligation not to resist for sustaining the good qualities for him in the other's minds. There are three ways to say no. The first one is with weakness that can be translated as maybe or even yes. Then the other person will not listen to this and he will keep on doing what he wants and we will not have the power to resist. The second way is to say no, but in such a bad way, with a terrible behavior, yelling and pinpointing that there is a serious problem there inside of us. There is no communication, just pure anger and frustration. And the third way, which is the right one, is to say no with love and kindness. I express my will, my desire, but I do not hold anything against you. I have to be loyal to myself and always be one piece. Follow my rules myself for my life that I choose because they make me feel nice and calm. I do not allow anyone and anything to make me feel awkward and puzzled and become unfair to myself. It is important, uh, this is very important, that I will express myself to be gentle and without rage. With all the kind principles I have, and with the respect for the other person, I will follow my point of view, and I will be fair and kind with myself and the other people. When someone does not show respect towards me, I will have to explain that this behavior makes me feel bad and unworthy, and it is not right for me. I will explain with a polite mood because I believe that a reasonable communication can help the person to understand this, and the difficulty can be solved. This is the point that the other person either will understand or not. What we will say has to pass through his ears and enter his mind. If he doesn't want to listen, he will only hear a nag, someone murmuring. But um, if he has the quality of empathy that makes him want to understand and feel the way he made me feel with his behavior, then my words will enter his ears, they will be processed in the brain, and then they will go to his heart. This is the way of comprehending and feeling what the other person feels. In case of not understanding, I definitely have to put my limits. I cannot allow this behavior for a second time. This is it. Because if I do, it will always be like that. And then I accept something, the other person takes it for granted. And then it is much more difficult to put any limit at all. I suppose that everyone has done that at some point in time in our lives, and after some cruel situation, he corrected that. But it needs an extra effort to manage, and it depends on the person. If he will agree to go backwards and lose something that he already has. But what are the reasons that we are weak to put our limits? First, we do not have right judgment. We need to be able to understand different situations and different kind of people and act with a proper way. Second, we need to have self-knowledge and having the sufficient evolution so as to support the things we want and can accept, and the decision to forgive and let it go away, or forgive but never accept it again. Third, our emotions and our insecurity is an obstacle here. We think that if we press the other person, then he will not love us, or he might leave us, that he might go away due to our cruel behavior. But the price is huge because we are not ourselves. We suffer. We are not genuine. We suppress our needs, our feelings, and our desires. Fourth, we need to be strong and demand the behavior we deserve and not underestimate ourselves with people and relationships that are not what we deserve. Fifth, it is the way we have lived and the things that we have learned. No one loved us because of what we were, but because of the things we did. Think about that. I'm sure that we have all faced that, even if we haven't realized it. We have to change that. I am what I am, I have my limits, and I deserve the best things in my life. Sixth, if we are insecure, we have to overcome this and find the strength we need so as to be ourselves. I think that I gave you some hints to think of. Everyone has its own life and relationships, and can reevaluate them. I hope you're doing well and that you're keeping on changing and becoming a better person day by day. If you want to take part in spiritual evolution, subscribe and hit the bell in the indication all for being informed when a new video is coming out. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.